We are here with my friend Josip, who's a big Dinamo supporter, and just wanted to get some thoughts about what Dinamo is to Zagreb and a little bit more about the club and the city. Josip, how are you doing today?
Well, good. A bit cold, but good.
Good. So what are we drinking here? What is this?
Unfortunately, Staropramen. In this cafe, they didn't have Ožujsko, the best beer in the whole world.
Really? Ožujsko?
Yeah. Ožujsko, yeah.
Is that like a local beer for Croatia?
Beer.
Or?
Yeah, local Croatian beer. And it's the best beer. For me, it's the best. No
Really?
Karlovačko. I mean,
What's wrong with Karlovac?
it's a Serbian beer. I'm just kidding. No, it's like you're drinking piss water.
So Ožujsko is good. It's not piss water.
Ožujsko is the best.
Are you sure?
Yeah, for sure. For me, top 3 beers in Croatia. So first place, let's say Ožujsko, then Velebitsko, and Vukovarsko. Those are the 3 beers that I like to drink here in Croatia.
Good. Sounds good. So obviously in Zagreb, in Croatia, football is a big sport. So tell me a little bit about football here. What's football about in Zagreb? Tell me a little bit about who do you support? You know, how's the culture around football?
Personally, I support Dinamo from when I was little. Regarding the football in Croatia and Zagreb, so football, like in most countries, is the biggest sport. It has the most money in it, so I think people like to play it because, yeah, it's easier to turn some money. Also, check it, then pravi cut. Okay, so regarding the tradition of football here in Croatia, I mean, it's the most popular sport. We are a small nation, but we had 2 major success in international tournaments. So the World Cup in '98, we finished 3rd, and now the World Cup in Russia 2022. It was not 2022, 2020. We finished 2nd. Regarding the tradition in Zagreb, we had a lot of clubs in Zagreb. Dinamo the first, then we had Zagreb and NK Zagreb. They had some money problems, so they fell in the lower division. Talking about the passion about football, it's not I mean, it's for sure it's not as big as down south in Split and Dalmatia, because more when you go more north, the people are more colder, more let's say rude, not interested in things, rather than the south. In the south they are more passionate about football, but for all that I know, we have also a big passion about Dinamo here in Zagreb. The past few years not so much, because the supporters of Dinamo, Bad Blue Boys, they don't disagree with the management of the club, with the president of the club, Zdravko Mamić. So it's another question. But Dinamo for me, it's a big part of my life. From when I was little, I was going to games, international games, home league games. So pretty much, I follow Dinamo every time they are playing. Maybe not so these upcoming years, because football for me became only a money pit. Many today kids want to play football because they or it's not about tradition or the club they are playing. They're just looking their paychecks. So that's pretty much it.
So Josip, what's your favorite memory from Dinamo? Right, we've heard a little bit now about the culture in Zagreb and the club, but what's your personal kind of favorite memory growing up, being a big fan of Dinamo over the years?
So my favorite memory, so I think I don't have one favorite memory. I have quite a few. I mean, the first one I can remember when it was the last game for Eduardo da Silva. He was a striker playing for Dinamo. We were playing Hajduk back home in Maksimir. The stadium was full. We won 3-0. Nothing too unusual for Dinamo. I'm just kidding. But I was, I think, 7th grade in the elementary school. So that was my first favorite memory. The second was I was, I think, let me think. I was, I think, the 8th grade in elementary school. Dinamo was playing the qualifications for, I think, Champions League, or now you're calling it Europa League, but it was called Cup UEFA. When we were playing Bremen, it was a fun game. I was on the part of the stadium where the Bad Blue Boys were, but not so you have the north section is divided on the lower part and upper part. I was on the upper part. On the lower part are the hardcore Bad Blue Boys, so that was the most fun and the most atmospheric game. And the second one is when we were playing. No, the second one, the third memory for me is when Dinamo was secured the playoffs in Europa League. I remembered we were in the same group as Fenerbahce. Help me with it was Spartak. No, it was else. No Spartak. Trnava.
Trnava.
Trnava. I think it was called Trnava. And what was the last club?
Good question.
The last European games when Dinamo secured the spring in the UA games. I mean the international cup games.
What about the Dinamo Benfica game? Right, was that in the knockout stage? That was the first time Dinamo reached the knockout game, and how long was that? Like 50 years?
49 years. Yeah.
49 years.
49
wow,
years.
since Dinamo hit a knockout game.
Yeah,
how was that game?
Yeah, it was excellent. I mean, the game was excellent. We won 1-0 back in Zagreb, here in Zagreb. The first leg was played in Zagreb, but we missed a lot of chances, which I knew that it would cost us back when we played played Benfica back in Lisbon, and I think they are from Lisbon. Yeah, from Lisbon. There we lost, I think 3-1, 3-0. I don't know, but yeah,
extra time. I think went to extra time.
Yeah, we lost in extra time. We in the 90 minutes it was 1-0 for Benfica, and then we lost. Then we conceded 2 goals. But yeah, it was the most memorable thing about this game is because I was present here in Zagreb, and it was the first knockout game in 49 years. So it's pretty big to be part of.
Amazing story. So the final question for you, Josip, then is as a big fan of Dinamo, what's your goals and aspirations, right? Where do you see the club 5 years, 10 years down the line, right? What's your vision? What will make you satisfied as a fan of Dinamo? What are your goals and aspirations for the club?
My first aspiration and goal is that Dinamo builds a new stadium. That's the first thing, because this stadium here in Zagreb, it's awful.
Looks beautiful. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, it's beautiful from a standpoint if you're a 50-year-old guy who likes the smell of urine and piss all over the place and everything is rotten, and maybe for the older generation.
But it's historic, right? Because there's a lot of historical, memories from the stadium. If you go back to the Yugoslavia years and with Boban and everything, right? That for you, that's not important, or for you, it's just you want to modernize in terms of stadiums. And
for me, it's important that the stadium is where it is now, so in Maxim, because it's a historic place for Dinamo. He's been playing there from its beginning. Maybe not from the initial beginning, but we can say 100 years, not 100 years, but 80, 90 years he's playing in Maxim. So the first thing is a new stadium, because this stadium, as I said, is awful. It's really awful. Where do I see Dinamo in 5 years? It's a good question. I see them playing in Euro Cups, so Europa League or Champions League. For me, I think it's better for Dinamo to play in a competition like Europa League, because it's easier for Dinamo, because the opponents are not so difficult to beat. Because today, as I said, everything is regarding it's all about money. I mean, Dinamo has a good amount of budget, but not good enough to buy excellent players like Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Barcelona, etc., etc. So I see them playing in Euro games, so international games regarding Europe. And my aspiration is one day maybe to win the, let's say, why not the Europa League, or maybe to go further, to qualify for Champions League, pass the group stage, maybe to, I don't know, quarterfinals. It will be a big success for Dinamo. But yeah, I for me personally, as a Dinamo supporter, I want them to keep accomplishing the things that they are accomplishing the last few years. So good and quality games in Europa Cups like Euro League or Champions League. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I see you're enjoying the best beer in Croatia, Osijek, which is one of your rivals of Dinamo. Anything particularly, Josip, you want to discuss or talk about here, you know, while we have you here?
Particularly saying regarding Dinamo, in the last couple of years they are playing better in the Euro leagues. I mean Europa League or Champions League, which for me as a supporter is much more better, because I was always frustrated that we were losing against some small clubs, or we finished last in group stages with clubs that are maybe better.
Quick question, actually, that brings up a good point. I know Dinamo's sold a lot of players over the years, right? I mean, imagine the team Dinamo could have, right, if you had a Modric still playing, or a Guardiola, which I actually heard about the other day, that, you know, Leipzig rejected a 60 million euro bid for a 19-year-old Dinamo player, and it's known for its youth factory, for producing brilliant talent. I mean, are you disappointed that Dinamo sells a lot of its players? I mean, what are your thoughts around that?
So from one aspect, yeah, I'm disappointed because those players that left Dinamo, they were really excellent players. Some more, some less. But from the other aspect, I understand that Dinamo has to earn something to sustain. You know? So it's not a big club like Liverpool or Arsenal or City. It's a small club, especially from Croatia, which doesn't invest a lot in sports. So yeah, I mean, I'm, let's say, sad and in one hand sad, in the other hand proud, because it's not common for a small club like Dinamo to constantly have a big talent base, and sell players for that much money in other good clubs from the leagues like German League, Bundesliga, or League One, or Premiership, or La Liga.
Yeah. And what are your thoughts about potentially having a Super League in the future? There's been discussions, right, you know, that Dinamo is not competitive, that they win the Croatian League every year, that it's boring for fans. Are you in favor of having like a regional league, right, where you have, you know, whether that's with the Austrian clubs, or even, you know, if you go back with Serbian clubs, where you probably get more you know, type of, you know, fan violence and issues? Are you in favor of having a bigger league in terms of, you know, making the league more competitive? Because, you know, it has to be boring, right? Dinamo winning the league by 10 points, 20 points year over year. What are your thoughts and comments about that?
So yeah, for me personally, as a Dinamo supporter, it was boring in the last few years. I mean, it was boring because Dinamo was always, like you said, 10 points up from the second place club. Now this year, so 2021 and 2022, we see Osijek, Rijeka, Hajduk and Dinamo competing for the first place. It's much more interesting to watch, but also you can see that clubs like Osijek and Rijeka, because they are the owners are foreigners. Yeah, they have a good team in the beginning of the season, but then when the half season comes, they sell a lot of players, because like Dinamo, they need to sustain, they need to have some kind of income. Yeah, I mean, so regarding the regional league, I'm not a fan about this idea, especially not with the Serbian clubs and Bosnian clubs. Not because of the war in the 90s, but because I think as a society in Croatia and in Serbia and in Bosnia, more or less the games would be just mayhem, people throwing stones at each other, and that's nothing. It has nothing to do with football. Regarding the Super League that some clubs from Europe wanted to start or still are trying to start. I'm against it because every club for me in the whole Europe has a chance to compete. Like I said, today in football it's all about money, and that's why the biggest clubs from the Europe want to found a super league so they can have the most money, most interesting games. But for me, what's interesting in seeing every day play, I don't know, Real Madrid against Arsenal, who by the way didn't win Champions League, and for example Ajax won the Champions League I think 4 times.
Yeah, I have no idea how Arsenal got invited.
Yeah,
for me that makes no sense.
Me neither, but it's money because they have the owners are rich, and that's why. So for me the Super League it's a nonsense, because the football, you know, it's something to watch, to enjoy, to have a few beers with your friends, to forget about problems in life, on work and everything, and not just to watch big rich clubs play each other every day, the same day, same clubs every day. So it's for me it's boring. So personally I'm against the Super League idea. Regarding the regional league, maybe with Austria, I don't know. I think if Croatia changed their mentality and started to invest in sports, not only in football but other sports, that Croatia is good, we could compete on the EU scene better than now. So, but I think the Croatian future is bright regarding the football, because we see now Hajduk is getting stronger. Rijeka, Osijek is building a brand new stadium. By the looks of it, it seems beautiful. I don't know, but so in a few years, I hope that not only Dinamo and maybe Hajduk will compete in EU games, but also Rijeka and Osijek could have a chance. I mean, Rijeka in the past few years were doing, let's be honest, better than Dinamo. They played their hearts out, but the problem is they have a foreign owner, and they're looking to earn more than to have some international success.
The best. This is the best beer. This Oržiško, the best. Yeah, the best. No Karlovačko, don't drink.